561-319-5533 or Tom at TrentoVision.tv. Listen and watch every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. on AM 1470 WNN and TrentoVision.tv. Now, let's get a peek at Tom's view of the world. Here's Tom Trento.
Welcome back to our third and final opportunity to impact your life in a way like it's never been impacted before. What?
I got you around.
Oh, good. Oh, you got him that quickly?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He's ready to go.
Yeah, we'll bring him in a few minutes here, and we have to get out a little earlier today.
Yep. It's Monday.
It's
Transition Monday.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's abbreviated Monday.
Yeah,
abbreviated
well,
Monday.
I think it's nice of us. We're good neighbors.
But what we can do, I was thinking, we won't do it today, is cut the video out, at a certain time, and just keep the radio going a little longer if we wanted to. Could do that. Kind of messes it up though. Particularly all the great things that'll be said in the last part that people will never see. Anyway, you're with. If you're just tuning in, you're driving your automobile on Military Trail in West Palm Beach, or you driving in downtown West Palm, right? There you are. You're making a left on Clematis. You're going right along the water. I'm talking to you. I'm talking directly to you. For you just tuning in, you're on a radio show called Trento Vision. It's broadcast on WNN. When you were just hitting the buttons, I'm telling you where it is exactly. WNN 1470 on the right-hand side of your radio. And put a little set the thing there right now so you can be there all the time. We are on, myself, CJ, Mark, Mike, whole bunch of different people from all over the world. Some in the studio. We're on every day, 3 to 6 o'clock, WNN 1470, broadcasting out of Boca Raton, Florida, not too far from you in West Palm Beach. We deal with national security issues primarily, and that means we deal with this President Obama, and our view and analysis, many years of work with many competent individuals, is that this president is not good, in fact, very bad for the United States of America as it relates to national security and obviously the economy. Notwithstanding all of that, he won re-election, but he did not win re-election with any landslide sort of mandate. So we are going to be an obstructionistic component to the desire of the Caesars, the 40 or 50 Caesars that the president has employed, along with a $100,000 dog walker, to reconfigure the United States vis-a-vis the Constitution or ignoring the Constitution. We're going to be an obstacle to get that accomplished over the next 4 years by informing and alerting all of you out there and exposing this administration for what it's doing. So if that kind of gets your juices flowing, this is where you need to be every day, 3 to 6. If you miss the audio side, there is a video side. You can go to TrentoVision.tv. If you miss all of this stuff, guess what? Through the magic of digital manipulation, we've put all the pieces of the puzzle together. You can go to TrentoVision.tv. Look at part 1, part 2, part 3 in the chronology, except for Patrick Poole last week, of shows, and you can watch them many times over. So you can do that. And we're here for you. We want you to watch our good friends Steve Kane and Brian Craig every morning, 6 o'clock. And if you need a lawyer, we want you to go to Peter Feynman, FeynmanLaw.com. You don't have to put it up. I'm just doing a little quickie here. FeynmanLaw.com. Peter Feynman is a great business attorney in Palm Beach County and wins every case. I don't think he's ever lost, ever. So, Mark, you're chomping at the bit. What's up?
Just vive la resistance.
Oh, yes.
That's
us, yes.
You remember that old post?
Resistance
Radio? That old poster from the 60s, war is not healthy for children and other living things?
I know, we're resistance
So we got
radio.
Obama is not healthy for children and other living things.
No, and we've said this many times on the air, that the office of presidency is and I'm using the word I'm going to use, I'm using with non-capitalized and not in bold and not italicized, but in its weakest sense, the office of president is sacred in many respects. It doesn't elevate itself to the ethereal or to the theological, other than in terms of the providence of God, maybe. But in terms of a unique and special place, I mean, we got Egypt right now. How old is Egypt? 5,000 years old?
It's up there.
They're trying to figure out how to write a constitution. They're slicing each other's throats while they're doing that. 10,000. I think
It's the home of agriculture,
the breadbasket of the world.
Yeah.
That's the Ukraine, actually. But
Well, that's the breadbasket of the former
Egypt-
Soviet Union.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Egypt can't figure out how the hell to design a constitution that allows them to develop in light of truth that we mentioned. Actually, I mentioned that in the video earlier. Our Constitution reflects that which is true, and the tangible consequent, the visible result is a phenomenal country, 236 years old, the longest running democracy ever. This isn't by mistake, but we have people now that want to bypass, circumvent, or destroy the fundamental principles of America, and as a result, up is down and down is up, and a good majority of the people prefer not to work at Taco Bell, not to work, but have hardworking people give their tax money to support them. You can't sustain a productive society when there's more takers than there are producers. That's the battle in 2013. We will be there. The United West, Trento Vision, our friends, our next guest, will be there on the edge of that, on the leading edge of that, fighting this administration and providing guidance for others to participate in this fight. It's a worthy fight. It's a good fight. It's a necessary fight. Join with us. That's what we need.
Yes.
Now, there's a little crazy country and 6 or 7 million crazy people that decided to fulfill their historic mandate by maintaining their existence in their homeland. And then after they were forced out of their homeland 2,000 years ago at the tip of a spear and maintained, first time ever in the history of mankind, maintained continuity of a nation. Never has a nation been dispersed and maintained the existence of that nation. It always got assimilated or dissolved in other countries. This nation, when I saw that as a Christian and studied the regaining of the homeland in 1948, we as evangelical Christians viewed that as a miracle of God. It's never happened before. It was predicted that it would happen. And you see the hand of God in this group of people. Well, as they migrated back to their homeland to join with those who had never left, war broke out from day one, May 15th, 1948. They've been in a state of war with our Arab enemies up until the decision the other day at the United Nations, when history will record, because we know what's happening.
Yes.
Yeah, that the world turned on that day against Israel in a new and unique way, in a way in which put the lives of every Jewish person at risk to a higher degree and increased the threat level to this country. As a response, the Prime Minister said, "You guys want to play that game? Well, guess what?" And the guess what is the subject of our next
Right. I just
specialist.
want to make one minor
Yeah, go ahead,
correction
sure.
to what you said. When you said, and war broke out in 1948, well, war did not break out. War was declared upon
Yep.
the state of Israel, and that is quite a difference.
Yep, it was.
Yep. Chicken box breakout,
And the beauty, I mean, if you read the history of the nation of Israel, I mean, these are guys in 1948 literally fighting established Arab armies with pitchforks and single-shot weapons against militaries. You cannot read that history and not see the providential hand of Hashem. You cannot. And then the next war, 1956, and 1967, and 1973. And you go, okay, I saw a little internet poster that was going around. It's been around a lot, but I saw it yesterday. It said all the nations that have tried to destroy
Right.
Israel,
Yeah.
and it had Assyria and Rome, and well, check, gone, gone.
Right. Yeah.
And then it said Hamas,
In progress.
yeah, in progress.
Yeah.
In progress.
Yep.
Well, we need to stand with Israel, and I think what happened today in Israel, the pronouncement of Benjamin Netanyahu on E1 puts more on the line, and I don't see much good coming out of this in terms of the Arab threat. But that's why we have experts like our friend Jerry Gordon. If we can get Jerry Gordon here front and center. Hi, Jerry. You're with Tom and CJ, Mark and Mike. How are you today, my friend?
Well, I'm alive and well. And
hi,
undisclosed
Jerry.
location in Northwest Florida.
There he is.
You're in another time zone, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I is.
People don't realize that Florida has 2 time zones.
Yes.
Actually 3. I think
Daytime and nighttime.
Yes. I think South Beach has its own time zone too. But yeah, we're in the East
Well,
Coast. We're in the East Coast, except for Jerry. You're up there somewhere in the Panhandle, and you're on Central Time, right?
We're basically in an area that's known as Lower Alabama with the world's
LA.
best beaches.
Now, does it, like right now, it gets dark around 6 o'clock here. What time does it get dark by you?
About 5:15 this time of the year, it gets dark.
Oh, really? So it's dark. It's getting dark right now. If I'm looking at my little clock. Oh no.
Well, the
Oh,
sun
five.
is sort of setting in the
4:15.
west. It'll be up for probably about another 40 minutes, I guess.
But it's 4:17 where you are right now. 4:18. Okay, we got it.
That is correct.
And it's 12:18 in the land that we're about to discuss. And from what I understand, Benjamin Netanyahu declared that this doctrine, you put out a post today, E1 is going forward.
Yep.
And I did a little research on E1, and I said, oh my God.
Well, they've been talking about it for years.
Yeah, for years and years.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about E1, why Netanyahu did what he did? Wait, hang on 1 second. I'm going to see if we want some callers want to jump in. 888-565-1470 if you want to talk to Jerry Gordon after he does his little presentation. 888-565-1470. Go ahead, Jerry. The floor is yours.
E1 has been a project that has been discussed as early as 1975 by the late Yitzhak Rabin, and it's also kind of eerie because here comes the Palestinian Authority last Thursday on the 65th anniversary of the UN vote on partition of the British Mandate into a Jewish and Arab state, and the Arabs said, the hell with it, we're going to kill you. They didn't. But in any case, E1 is an area that was originally about 19.5 kilometers in what we call the disputed territories. I have cousins who are Americans who made Aliyah to Israel who live next door in a place called Me'ala Adumim, which has been constantly building in that area, probably something in the order of close to 40 to 50,000 people.
Whoa. This is what is known as a settlement, 40 or 50,000 people.
Oh, no. Your listeners have to understand that the territory that Me'ala Adumim and the adjacent area in E1 were originally part of something called the Gush Etzion bloc that was overrun by the Jordanian Arab Legion in the 1948-49 war. Originally were Jewish settlements. And so, therefore, the world is of the opinion that this is really, quote, the West Bank, and it's part of the Palestinian Authority. It's not. It's part of the disputed territories. And that was ordained in November of 1967 under Resolution 242 that also said that Israel has the right to negotiate secure borders. And none of that has effectively taken root.
There's
Now-
also, Jerry, there's also a misconception by many people, and for the sake of our viewers and listeners, when the term settlement, Israeli settlements, your mind's eye views, a vast, dry, parched land and a couple of kind of Bedouin tents set up and a couple of sheep around and, old Jewish man with a big long beard and his wife and a couple of kids and, 3 or 4 of these tents as a Jewish settlement. And when we were there in February and we saw settlements that looked like highly advanced cities with high-rise buildings and shopping centers and highways and all of this, what is this? What is that all about? It was unbelievable to see that a settlement is, progress in Israel.
Well, they're not. That's right. They're not, quote, hilltop settlements with temporary caravans, as the British would call them. These are basically cities and towns, predominantly occupied by Israeli citizens, and they consider themselves Israeli citizens.
Wow.
So the world has denied Israel essentially what has been determined a long time ago, not only biblically, but under several international conventions, its right to its secure borders and its territory. So while the U.S. is upset, even though it vetoed this thing that occurred last Thursday, it is poised, a number of us believe, in a few months, to do something dastardly. And that dastardly act is basically the Arabs are not going to be satisfied with the sort of move up to non-member status. I mean, what they got on Thursday was the equivalent of what the Vatican has, essentially, at the UN.
Yep.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what is next going to happen is that the Palestinian Authority is going to prevail upon its buddies in the non-aligned movement again. They'll put pressure, essentially, through the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to basically put the folks in the UN Security Council on notice. You'll notice that who complained about Netanyahu's announcement of E1 pushing forward for development? Putin.
Mm-hmm.
Understand me? And
Yep.
Putin represents Russia, which
Why
is
is he
a member
complaining?
Because he's part of the quartet.
Just so for that structural reason.
And also,
Yeah.
Putin,
So
now he
you
can do what he
can
wants to do.
you can bet your bottom dollar that sometime after the inauguration of President Obama for a second term.
Hey Jerry, hang on, Jerry. Are you monitoring our feed? Because we just put up some maps that maybe you can comment on.
Well, if you take a look at that map, which I think I had at the masthead of my article, I wrote about this stuff yesterday.
No,
Yes.
I mean right now.
Yes, that's where it's from.
Okay.
Okay, if you take a look at that map, you will see the expanded version of the map, which shows essentially the E1 development area.
Now, what does E1 mean? We were trying to figure that out.
It is just a block of territory
Okay.
that was set aside, and it was set aside for the purposes of development. And it has been objected to since time immemorial, even after the late Yitzhak Rabin announced it. And I was about to point out to you that what did he do? He announced E1 in 1975 when the UN passed the Zionism equals racism
Right.
resolution.
Oh.
Remember that?
Sure. Okay.
So that was the first time that E1 sort of popped up onto the scene. And then you have to fast forward to, you remember that infamous Gaza withdrawal way back in 2005?
Yes.
Moribund former Prime Minister Sharon decreed. Well, he was promising essentially also to start the E1 development in that regard. And what had always been on the docket was building somewhere between 3,000 and 3,500 apartments. Now, a buddy of mine who's in the know has indicated to me that quietly over the past couple of decades, more building has gone on in E1 than we have, quote, been led on to. And yet, surprisingly, it's only taken this announcement this past week to get the objection of the world to what Israel has declared is really part of its realm. Period. End of quote. Now, we're going to find out essentially how good and how resourceful Bibi is in defending this announcement that he made virtually on the heels of that vote. Now, in addition to that announcement, you'll have heard that Israel was not going to remit tax collections from what is called a VAT tax,
Right.
because basically it feels, rightfully so, that the infamous Oslo Accords of 1993 have been submarined. The presumption for the Oslo Accords was, you remember, Clinton had a big forced handshake with Rabin and the infamous Yasser Arafat on the sunsplash lawns of the White House. You remember that
Yes.
stuff, gang?
Sure, yeah,
Yes.
of course, yeah.
As my
It is
stomach
better-
turned.
Nobel Day, Nobel
Yeah.
Day.
Oh, that's absolutely right. It is deader than a doornail.
Well, thank God for that.
So to hear Hillary Clinton at the Saban Forum this past Friday night,
This is big. This is big.
comment
Listen to this.
that was not a good thing for
Yep.
Prime Minister Netanyahu to make an announcement. And if you carefully listen to her speech, she is toast. She is history as Secretary of State for the U.S. Okay?
Yeah.
So that
Wait. Yeah, you lost me. What do you mean she's history?
She has basically announced that she is not going to be there during Obama's second term.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we knew that. Yeah.
And in fact, what you got is Obama suggesting that the other wonderful person, our U.S. and UN ambassador, who can't get her talking points squared away about what happened in Benghazi, has been, quote, nominated or put up by him, not just nominated just yet. Or it could be that wonderful human being, the senior senator from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, John Kerry,
Yep.
as a possible nominee if essentially the Senate doesn't want to confirm Susan Rice in that regard. So as far as Hillary is concerned, she said, hasta la vista. I'm not going to be around anymore. I'm going off into the sunset, maybe, possibly to toss my hat in the ring in 2016. But she's gone. And anything she has in the way of comments are just pro forma as regards Israel in that regard. But take a look at Europe. How many countries voted against this thing last Thursday? 9.
Yeah.
How many countries abstained?
41.
41.
41, yep.
Yeah.
Right. And look who were amongst the 41 that some people said we're going to vote against this. Germany, Italy, and a couple of others I can name.
Yeah.
Okay? So now what you've got is, ironically, the United Kingdom came out today and said they're going to withdraw their ambassador to Israel. The French said, oh no, we're going to find other ways to submarine the Israelis because we don't like what
Is that you
happened
tapping?
on the heels of that vote. So Israel basically has very, very few international friends. What it does have is it has the preponderance of American citizens at this juncture who support the state of Israel. And it also has great members of Congress, like our friend in the House who heads foreign affairs. You know who that is, Tom? She lives down near you.
Ileana, yep.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she came out today and said, this ain't going to pass. And then you had on the Senate side, I guess, the Republican senator from Wyoming who says it's now time to cut our aid to Palestine by at least 50% in that regard. So, you got members of Congress, certainly on the House side, and certainly some on the Senate, but not all, essentially, who would basically say, enough. We don't have to cut checks to the tune of $500 million or more for preserving, essentially, a Palestinian Authority. Now, the real danger, gang, is the following. You remember what happened back in 2006 when the Bush administration promoted the idea that there should be elections for the Palestinian Legislative Council. What was the outcome of that?
Not good.
No, it wasn't good. Hamas won it.
Yep.
Ismail Haniyeh became, quote, the prime minister of Palestine. A year later...
There is no Palestine. Stop saying it.
No, there is now. There is a Palestine now. And they're starting to use it, you know?
I do not
So-
recognize it.
Imagine what Israel's predicament is like if you had another similar vote in the West Bank. Who would win that? Anybody know?
Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade.
No, I mean this is the crazy thing. Last week in the run up to the vote, we did some analysis of this, Jerry, and we said there's actually three pieces of dirt. There's Gaza, there's Judea, Samaria, West Bank, but there's also East Jerusalem. I mean that's a significant
Well, if you,
piece of dirt. And who's running all three of these? Is Abbas now the de facto leader? Is Hamas, because they've agreed to let him go to the UN and they've agreed to support him? Is he now the leader of Hamas?
I think basically he's nothing. Clearly, Hamas has taken all the oxygen out of the air of Abbas because of this little rocket war that occurred not long ago, courtesy of Iran in Gaza. Look who's going to Gaza within the week. Who's going to Gaza?
I don't know. My heart just jumped out of my body.
Sorry.
CJ showed me a kind of a breaking news
Yeah.
headline. Why don't you read it, CJ?
Obama to reappoint Wasserman Schultz as DNC chair.
Oh, well, basically, you know
Yeah.
what the problem is with Mr. Obama? You can't keep a bad Jewish woman down. That's my attitude about Wasserman Schultz.
Yeah. I don't know who's going next week. You said to where, the West Bank?
Turkey's prime
Yeah, I was going to say
oh,
Turkey.
Erdogan.
Yeah.
Erdogan.
Yeah.
So look who's gone to Gaza during the course of the last month or so, right?
Every terrorist
Everybody,
schmuck in
yeah.
the world.
Anybody who's anybody in the pantheon of Islamists in
Yeah.
the Middle East, right?
Well, here's the question, Jerry. Netanyahu obviously knows the situation on the ground, micrometer, kilometer by kilometer, piece of sand by piece of sand. This, to me, was a shocking, very bold statement that you wouldn't make unless you can back this sort of thing up. Now, did he say? I haven't read all the material yet. I haven't analyzed, what he said in Hebrew and all this stuff. Did he say we're moving ahead and doing this, or now you forced us to start thinking? Did he nuance it a bit?
Well, I think he's basically said, to heck with it, guys. We're going to start developing this piece of dirt, if you will, E1, right now. As I said, there's been encroaching building going on for nearly 2 decades in it. There's about 5 square kilometers that have yet to be developed, and that's where these 3,000, quote, apartment blocks are going to be put in. Now realize, just go through the numbers. How many people are going to be in those 3,000 apartments?
In the Jewish world, about 15 people per family. They're populating Israel. That's going to be 6, 7 per house, sure.
Well, to be realistic about it, probably 3 to 4. But it really means that you're talking about somewhere in excess of 100,000 Jews are going to be in that area. So that's not insignificant because
No,
if you add
it's
those
huge.
numbers,
A lot of American Jews want to move there right now, so they really do need to build some more apartments anyway.
But this is an area where there's going to be a security threat. There's going to have to be all kinds. This is going to be an encampment in a sense. The jihadis are going to go nuts, But he's saying
well, they will,
They don't need a reason
will
to
go-
go nuts. David R.
well,
Oh.
they will go nuts. But the reality is, what did Chairman Mao say? Power comes out of a gun barrel.
Yeah.
Okay? And for sure, if something untoward occurred on the West Bank, I can predict that what Israel's government would likely do is to reoccupy the West Bank. They're not going to allow that essentially to go in the direction of becoming another terrorist stand, whether it's done by another vote, so to speak, equivalent to what happened in 2006 that let Hamas in through the gates, basically down in Gaza. And the problem is, look, gang, the Bush and the Obama administrations have perpetrated what occurred within this last month in Gaza with the rocket war.
Yep.
You realize what happened within 1 month after the 2005 withdrawal from Gaza? Any of you?
Yeah. We were back in February standing on the border of Gaza and Sderot and hearing the whole story firsthand. Everything was knocked down, and the jihadis took over, and the missiles started to fly.
Right, but the most important thing for Israel was that Condoleezza Rice suggested to Sharon that now that you've unilaterally withdrawn, you took 8,000, quote, settlers out of Gush Kativ back to Israel, you're going to do us a real favor because you think this is going to work. Guess what the Israelis stupidly did? They gave up control over the Philadelphia corridor in the Rafah Gap.
Yeah.
That's where the tunnels are.
Yeah.
Gang.
Yep.
That's where all the arms and other stuff are being smuggled through.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, we have what do we have?
We have
CJ?
David on the line.
Yeah, David, hi. You're with Tom and CJ, Mark, Mike, and our special guest, Jerry Gordon. What's up, David? Where are you calling from?
Hillsborough Beach, Tom.
It's Twizzlers
Day.
Dave.
Oh, Twizzlers Dave. All right.
I'll bring them next time I come by.
All right.
My question is this for Jerry, I guess, and he seems to be very knowledgeable about what's happening over
He
there.
really is.
He is.
Why? And because I just tuned in about 10 minutes ago, I was out, and of course I tune in when I can. Why would Israel subject themselves to a ceasefire, knowing full well that in the heart of hearts of Hamas and the other faction over there, they will not accept peace. They will not negotiate in good faith. All they want to do is to kill Jews and Westerners, etc., and non-believers. That's the first question, and if you don't mind, give me an answer. I have no idea. I thought Netanyahu would say, we're going to run you right into whatever Stone Age you came from.
Well, hold that, Dave. Hold that question first. And Jerry, for a little bit of context here, Dave is a former Marine and a good friend of ours, the Tea Party movement, and everyone. And Dave, for a little context, Jerry's a former Army intelligence officer during the Vietnam War. So, both of you are coming to this question with a military background. So, Jerry, what are your thoughts?
Jerry, are you there?
Well, what is apparent? I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, why didn't Netanyahu go in and finish business?
All right, there are a couple of reasons why. You remember Operation Cast Lead in January of 2009?
Yep.
Or you remember how many casualties occurred?
Yeah, there were a few.
104 or something like that?
Well, no, there was more than that. There was almost 1,500 to 2,000 casualties.
Oh, no, on the other side, not on the Israeli side.
No, on the Israeli side, there were probably less than about 40 or 50.
Yeah.
But let me be specific about it. David, you know about U.S. military doctrine when it comes to urban warfare?
I'm not familiar with that. I've been out of the Marine Corps about 50 years, so I would say my memory is a little sketchy on that.
All right. In my day and era, when I was going through the U.S. Army Infantry training course up at Fort Benning 50 years ago, that's how old I am, the answer was you needed 1 battalion per city block. Okay?
Yep.
All right. Gaza City is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. It's got of the 1.7 million Arabs or Palestinians, whatever you want to call them, in the Gaza territory, probably in excess of 2/3 are in Gaza City. The rest of it's, sparsely populated or whatever. Well, the other problem is that the IDF got intelligence. Since you're a Marine, and since I know a little bit about the intelligence business from my career and my associates, I can bet you dollars to donuts that Israel did send in what are called Sayeret commando groups, and they were in there to get specific target information. Hear me? And what they uncovered was the fact that there was a myriad of booby traps. And guess who designed the booby traps? Iran's Revolutionary Guard engineers,
Correct.
just like they did during the Second Lebanese War that occurred in 2006. Got that? So you got that issue. And the question is casualties. The other issue is what was the objective of Operation Pillar of Defense? Its real objective, that a number of us believe, including some people we've interviewed, was that you needed to take out the threat of a couple of hundred Iranian Fajr 5 long-range rockets. They were a game changer. Got me?
Yeah, I follow you.
And so, therefore, using a combination of Israel's pretty decent drones, and you saw what happened with one of their drones. They knocked out the military leader of Hamas, didn't they?
I did, yes. I followed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they also knocked off 30 of the top leaders in both Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, which is alloyed with the Islamic Republic of Iran. And for those of you who are Floridians, why is the Palestinian Islamic Jihad something that you've heard about before?
USF, Samuel Arian.
Well, they're all over
Absolutely.
South Florida.
Yeah.
Samuel Arian was
Yeah.
a shill and a fundraiser for the PIJ.
Yeah.
Goes back that far.
Yeah.
So the answer in the short is, look, you don't go in to willy-nilly send in troops to be chewed up in an unnecessary combat when you've achieved your military objectives, which is to decimate essentially the vital threat of these long-range rockets to your population. Now, it didn't
Right.
make a million
Well,
or
don't
so.
you think Iran will go ahead and rearm them, Jerry?
Oh, yes. Iran will attempt to do that. But one of the unknown things that we discussed, actually, was one of the consistent areas of cooperation between the U.S. and Israel is the U.S. Navy provides pretty good intelligence on what Iran is shipping out of the Persian Gulf down to the Sudan. The Sudan is the place, you may recall, where just a few weeks prior to this little rocket war beginning, that some 4 fighters allegedly went in and blew up a whole bunch of containers at a munitions plant in Khartoum. Guess what were in those containers?
Arms, of course. Missiles,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
More Fajr
More
5 rockets.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to, Jerry, if I could just interrupt you for one moment, I'm going to recommend to David that he go to the newenglishReview.com, .org rather.
Okay, I can do that, yeah.
And if you look up an article on there, Jerry has several articles up there, and one of them is called "Not the Time to Conquer Gaza," and it's a
Right.
very good summary of Operation Pillar of Defense that you might want to have a read.
I'll do that. Just one final comment, and I certainly hope, and I know this has been the case for years and years, that Israel always gets hit with world condemnation, and for a country that continually gets attacked. At some point in time, you got to say the hell with world opinion and protect your citizens and wipe these son of a guns out, because in their heart of hearts, they want to wipe out Israel. So I understand what Jerry just explained, and I'll go on that the New England Review to learn more. But I certainly hope that the Netanyahu, and I'm a non-Jew, but I'm very pro-Israel, and I just feel that at some point in time, these people really have to be given a lesson in warfare. That if you want to attack us, we're going to annihilate you, and end of story. And then we'll worry about world opinion later.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you,
Hey,
David.
Dave, thanks. And
Visit soon, please.
Well, my
I
suggestion.
will. I'll bring some Twizzlers.
all right, you take care, Dave. Yeah, Jerry, we're gonna have to wind it up. You got about
Bye, pal.
a minute to make a closing statement. We're gonna have to bring you back, Jerry, because we're just getting into this, and we got to leave a little early today. But I have a feeling this issue is going to be with us in the future.
Yeah, and Jerry, for homework assignment for you, because we're talking about post Abbas. I'm curious for you to have a look at Marwan Barghouti's latest pronouncements, especially since the UN vote, and see politically what his chops are coming up. Is he there?
He's there. He's talking, but I didn't hear him.
Did we lose Jerry?
No, there he is. Jerry, you there?
No, I think we're having audio.
Yeah,
No, we're having audio
problems.
problems.
All right.
Okay.
Say goodbye to Jerry.
Okay, Jerry, we gotta go.
See you, Jerry.
All right.
Okay, that was Jerry Gordon.
The NewEnglishReview.org.
NewEnglishReview.org. And he's a writer. He's his background in the military was Army intelligence in Vietnam, and then had a successful business career, and now is one of the experts in the United States on these issues, on Israel, on national security.
Yep.
And he's on the United West crew, and we will have him back regularly as we bring you this great information. Ladies and gentlemen, the camera's over on the wall or something over there. The wire, look, you hit the wire and it pulled it.
Oh man, Mark's back.
Mark's back.
Mark's back. Honey, he's home.
It's Batman. It's Batman. Look at that shot. Look, they can see the rest of the studio here.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it's been an interesting afternoon as we
It
went.
certainly
This was
has.
Monday, our trip around the world.
Yeah.
Patrick Poole laid out the interesting situation in Arizona. We got to keep our eyes on with an Iraqi potential jihadi. Could just be a whack job, but
Yeah.
you err on the side of, particularly if you're not part of the Obama administration, as seeing this type of stuff as a bad person. We got the Quasi brothers that are just lovely, wonderful Muslim guys having a good time.
Misunderstood.
Just a couple of family guys in South Florida.
All that talk about bombs and
It's a-
weapons of mass destruction.
It's a misunderstanding.
Who doesn't talk to their
Well, the
friends like
Associated
that?
Press said they're misunderstood, and Washington Post says they're misunderstood. They really didn't. They really love America.
You know, all
America's a great country.
this is well.
America, it's a beautiful country. Yes,
I'm
yes.
so
I
glad.
kill you.
Thank you, God in heaven, that we have the opportunity to be here every day and make a lot of noise and provide the information necessary. But folks, in order for us to do that, we do need your help. So if you'd like to advertise with us or donate, please go to TrentoVision.tv. If you're a trust fund baby in Boca Raton, we will all take you out for dinner and sit down and tell you the big plan we have, okay? Viva la revolution, the ideological revolution. All right, guys, we're leaving a little bit early today. And Blake, you awake? Awake, Blake? You there? He's here.
I'm
All right,
here.
We're surprising him.
guys just please go?
Would you go now?
We're surprising him by leaving
you guys
a
go
li-
now,
a
Blake?
little bit.
Just
I'm
go.
looking at my magic clock. I'm going right by my little...
No, Blake is like,
This
can you
is-
guys go?
I
Can you
run the
guys go?
world.
I'm ready for you guys to go now.
Yeah, just get out
Yeah.
of here. Give him a donut. Give him a donut.
No, it's
It's a
not a donut.
cupcake.
It's a happy birthday
Yeah,
cupcake.
yeah,
Give him one of these. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.